Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 12 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma ni no Sara, or the Second Plate. And this was all kinds of awesome, seeing Shinomiya return to the story after he'd gone away to open a restaurant, and we're seeing that he's opening Shino's Tokyo now. It's the pre-open, a 5-day period, before the actual open, where he has people he's invited into this place to really test out the servers, the quality, and the speed with which they can get the dishes prepared. Soma has been appointed, as part of, I guess, the second phase of the Stagiaire, and it's really interesting to see Soma up against it, going head-to-head once again with Shinomiya. I really thought it was cool that Shinomiya, Soma has earned his respect, and Shinomiya is not going to hold his hand. He's not in for the hand-holding. He wants Soma to come to the necessary conclusions of how to approach this, getting all of these different dishes, the recettes and all this kind of stuff, all the chopping of the ingredients, whether it be the vegetables and the fish and everything like that. He wants him to come to these conclusions of how best to approach this on his own, because Soma had the gall, the unmitigated gall, or the confidence to actually challenge him in the past to a Shokugeki for the sake of, Megumi at the time, who was facing being kicked out of Totsuki Academy. It was interesting, too, to see some of the other characters. You really only get, some brief snippets and flashes of what the other characters are going through, and it did lead me to wonder how much focus the Stagiaire with these other characters had in the manga, whether or not they were, scrimping on things or just sort of passively overlooking things, or if this is the exact pacing the manga had, where you just saw, a page here or there dedicated to the other characters, Megumi, Nikumi, and all that kind of stuff. Even Alice and Rio and Akira. I mean, seeing all these characters just briefly, it was nice to get a sense that they're all out of their element. They're all very much facing possible, failure in the Stagiaire, in the second phase of it. And it was also interesting to answer that question I had lingering after the previous episode. Would they split the characters up even more? Would characters be teamed up together? And we basically see that Soma is on his own, dealing with Shino's. So it was really cool to see, Soma once again aspiring, once again using his courage and his skills. He is hunkering down on that aspect that he learned about himself, that he really has to find a dish that speaks to his talents, that is something that is his specialty, his signature, and that is his main focus. And yet, even with that being his focus, he is hunkering down as far as doing the best he possibly can. He wants to become part of this well-oiled machine that Shino's represents. You have this cat, Abel, who is giving him crap every other turn. You're not good enough. You're making mistakes left, right, and center. The first day, the second day. By the third day, Soma is, it's almost as though he hasn't gotten any sleep. I have to wonder, as Abel did, is he actually going without sleep and spending his entire night, every night that week, just going over the books, going over the techniques, learning how to do stuff. By the morning, every time they come in, he's already there. He's already gotten all of the pots and pans and cutlery, all of it's cleaned, all of the vegetables and the ingredients are chopped and prepared and ready for the cooking. It's absolutely insane, and he takes every opportunity to ask questions and learn more about these techniques, to further his progress, to keep at it. He doesn't have time, as he says himself, to feel sorry for himself, to feel down on his luck, hard on his luck, because he wants to apply himself at every step, in every way possible. He is a character to aspire toward in that. I mean, how many of us, myself included, we reach a hurdle or we reach a stumbling stone, stumbling block along our journey, and it's like, I should quit. I should stop right here. It's pointless to keep going. And this is something that they've tapped in on a few times in this season, where Soma, he just doesn't have that. That's not part of his chemical makeup. It's not part of his hard wiring to even consider giving up. And I love that about Soma. He is aloof. He's kind of oblivious. He doesn't look at problems as being that big a deal. It doesn't take away from his focus on trying to keep going, on aspiring toward a greater purpose, a greater sense of self. And I love that about his character. I love that he is, again, as I say, pitted toe-to-toe with Shinomiya again, who he's earned the respect of for that. But Shinomiya also sees that this kid still needs to learn from challenges, and that's why he's not going to hold his hand. That's why he's not going to give him the answers or give him advice, as some of the other characters, they're like, we're really shocked that you haven't given him words of encouragement or something that could teach him, lead him along the primrose path of becoming a chef and a culinary artist. And Shinomiya is just like, look, he's got to learn it on his own. And internally, he's like, this kid had the sack to go up against me, to challenge me. And he is someone who propelled my horizons. He's got to be able to do it on his own. He's got to have the cojones to figure it out on his own, by himself. And that's exactly what Soma does. But by the end, once, Abel is like asked begrudgingly, should we keep him on for the full 5 days instead of sending him packing? Like, apparently it's happened to all of these other characters in the Stagiaire. They're all failing. They're all being sent packing, so far as we know in any case. But Soma has actually won the respect of his co-workers in the Stagiaire, and he's going to take it one step further. The final challenge in the Stagiaire, in this particular framework, is coming up with a dish to submit for, basically this competition for consideration to become an actual dish in the restaurant you're serving in. And Soma is apt to the task. He's full of confidence. He wants entrance into this sucker. And he shocks everybody because he's just barely been, keeping up toe-to-toe, keeping up to speed with everybody in, the kitchen at this point. Even though he has won their respect, even though he has been, holding his own, to take it a step further, and you think you're going to create your own recette and you're going to make that part of this competition and try to make that part of the meal plan for this restaurant? Are you out of your mind? But that's Soma, man. That is Soma. And it's so damned exciting, especially that we are reaching the finale of this season. I can only hope Soma busts all over this place with whatever this dish is he has planned, and he wins the day. And this dish becomes part of the menu, or at least wins the competition, whatever, the sort of prize is by the end, if the dish becomes part of the menu or if it's just, the winning selection, whatever it is, however it works out. I'm backing Soma, because Soma is a character I would love to aspire towards. Soma, in his just irascibility, in the sense that he's not going to back down. He's not going to let indifference or these hurdles be something to stop him. It's almost like he's got this very dedicated sense, no matter what, oblivious to heartache, oblivious to failure. He's going to learn from it every step of the way. He's going to pick himself up. It's almost as though he never falls. He just barely falls into failure, and he keeps himself from reaching the ground by keeping going, by keeping aspiring and keeping his focus on what he really needs to do, how he needs to master things. He was enjoying learning new techniques because it was broadening his horizons, which is what his end goal is at this point. To become better than he was, but also master his craft, hone his skills enough to make a specialty dish, something that harkens to him and him alone. And it's just all kinds of goosebumps by the end for that. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 12 of Shokugeki no Soma ni no Sara, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you got goosebumps as much as I did, and just wowed by Soma's keeping up to pace, seeing Shinomiya back, and seeing the sort of arm twisting that Soma needed to do to impress Abel and all that kind of stuff, but that he wouldn't back down. And love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Just love having that conversation. So yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Bring on the finale, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.